and the omnibus. So I was forced into the Archers when I was a child. And look, it's come back to bite me later on. I'm awash with this stuff.
The Archers is the world's longest-running radio show, with more than 15,000 episodes broadcast. Despite being a rural flavour show, The Archers is recorded in the heart of the UK's second-largest city.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're pulling apart just one source, a single audio recording, filled with snippets of seemingly everyday life.
Yeah, our mission, to listen past the surface chat, really dig out the human dynamics at play, and see what surprising insights we can actually gain from these brief moments.
Think of this deep dive as tuning your ear to those subtle signals people send, the stuff that, well, often goes unnoticed. It's pretty amazing what you can learn when you really listen. Okay, let's dive in.
So where do we start?
We jump right into the middle of a job tree cutting. And immediately, you feel the friction between Ed and Emma.
You absolutely do. Listen closely to that dialogue during the tree work. Ed's on the ground, giving directions, sort of, to Emma up in the tree. He's asking, which branch are you going for?
Yeah.
Suggesting she'd leave that one for now. It's like supervision from below, right?
Exactly. And Emma's reaction is swift and pretty clear. She feels he's niggling, right, and being downright patronizing. She pushes back hard. You hear her say she's perfectly capable, knows what she's doing, had the same training as him.
Yeah, it's a classic assertion of competence when you feel like you're being questioned.
Totally.
And this is where it gets interesting because it highlights that really common challenge. The difference between perceived help and perceived lack of trust. Ed says he's being helpful, right?
Yeah.
He even claims he wouldn't mind if roles were reversed.
But that's not how Emma hears it at all.
No. For her, it sounds like he doesn't trust her judgment, even though he's talking about them being a team.
And she even throws back at him, like, you certainly weren't sure of things to say earlier about something else.
Right. But suddenly he's got plenty to say about her work up there.
It's that classic disconnect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your intention might be, oh, I'm just helping, but the impact is feeling doubted or, micromanaged.
Absolutely. What does this really tell us about how communication can just go sideways in a working relationship, even between people meant to be a team?
Yeah, it's not just what you say, is it? It's the power dynamic, the trust, or maybe the lack of it, that really shapes how it's heard.
Definitely. And speaking of dynamics, the conversation then shifts, doesn't it, from that workplace tension into the family sphere?
It does. There's talk about Adam doing Pilates.
Right. A doctor apparently suggested it for his back pain.
And here's a little detail, but boy, does it speak volumes about family feelings. Kit is apparently livid that Adam didn't join her yoga class instead.
Oh, wow. Even though she runs a specific yoga for back pain class herself.
Exactly. It's fascinating, isn't it?
It really is. Two people looking for relief for the same thing. But the choice of method Pilates versus Kit's yoga gets all tangled up with family emotions. Maybe she feels rejected or, unsupported.
Could be. It just shows how even health decisions can become these little relationship flashpoints.
And you have to remember, all of this is layered on top of that recent shared grief.
Good point. The conversation mentions Adam is pretty sad since Peggy died, though, coping.
And we hear about your own family coping, too, described as sad, but okay. But specifically noting that Lillian is struggling. So it grounds that whole health discussion in this heavier context, doesn't it? People are dealing with loss, and that underlying sadness, that stress, it probably affects everything else.
How they talk to each other, their physical health.
Yeah, and those little family sensitivities that just bubble up.
And the topic of Peggy, well, it naturally leads right into her will. Apparently that was a bit of a surprise.
A complete surprise, it sounds like. There's real uncertainty, isn't there? And even speculation about where the money actually ended up.
Especially since Adam didn't get anywhere with the accountant.
No, the accountant wouldn't tell him anything, so it's this sort of financial mystery unfolding after a death.
And the guess that Peggy might have invested in a donkey sanctuary or something. It's just such a perfect humorous detail.
It is. It just instantly captures that sense of Peggy's personality, that she always liked to do things her own way. It's a lovely shorthand for her independent spirit, even now.
It really is. And it highlights how navigating the practical stuff after someone's gone can be full of unknowns, and sometimes, these amusing theories about their final wishes.
And amidst all this, the grief and the financial puzzle, there's also that brief mention, that note of anticipation for a big Archer family holiday.
Yeah, a little moment of looking forward together. Maybe a potential counterpoint to the sadness.
Perhaps. But just as you're kind of processing all these different family threads, bam, Oliver completely interrupts the scene with something pretty significant.
He bursts in, doesn't he? Reminds Emma and Ed that it's their 10th wedding anniversary.
Apparently he heard it from Eddie.
Yeah.
And then he reveals he's taken the liberty of arranging a little surprise.
And what a surprise it is. A free night stay at Grey Gables.
Not just any stay, executive room, spa passes, dinner. I mean, he's gone all out to create this whole experience for them.
He's thought of everything childcare arranged with Eddie and Clary. Even got Kira to sneak out their swimming costumes. Oliver frames it as an anniversary gift, really stressing how important it is to mark these milestones.
It's a really striking act, isn't it? Unexpected generosity, real thoughtfulness, especially when you contrast it with that earlier tension at work.
And the uncertainty around Peggy's money.
Yeah. It literally removes Emma and Ed from their current environment and all the stresses of the day. What does that gesture tell you about Oliver? Or maybe about the way people try to create positive moments even when things are difficult?
It's a good question. Okay, shifting gears again, the source also gives us this really open and honest look into navigating the world of online dating.
Yeah, specifically through Emma first, and then later Helen.
So first, Emma's accidental match with Martin Gibson. How she handled it is really interesting, I thought.
How so?
Well, she messaged him directly, thanked him for condolences about Peggy, explained she swiped by mistake.
Right, and kind of blamed her own ineptitude, saying she was new to all of this.
I thought that was quite disarming, actually. And apparently they ended up having a nice chat about what a minefield online dating can be.
And she also learned about his recent split from Pam just a few months ago.
With Mom speculating Pam had an affair.
Which is crucial context, isn't it? It shows a really mature way to handle what could have been an awkward digital encounter. She turned it into a genuine, if brief, connection.
Yeah.
And learning about Martin's situation, maybe not the best time to be dating for him, gives you a window into the complexities people carry with them online.
Then there's this new connection for Emma.
Zosk. Ah, yes, Dad.
And she talks about how bad at the messaging she feels she is, how it feels forced and fake. She clearly values that in-person spark.
Which is understandable. And Dan's identified as the new temporary manager at Grey Gables. Ian knows him.
Right, and Ian gives this description. Confident, funny, always on, cracking jokes the whole time.
But did you notice? Listen closely to Ian's response right after that description, that little hesitation.
Oh, yeah.
He says, right, that's great, but apparently with a certain look. Then he insists Dan is nice, but feels the need to add, really nice.
That subtle qualification.
Yeah.
It suggests Ian's perspective might be a bit more nuanced than just confident and funny, doesn't it?
Exactly. Maybe there's a too much quality or just a complexity he's hinting at without actually being negative. It's subtle.
Interesting. And then the conversation pivots again, this time to Helen and Ian discussing Helen's upcoming date with Dan.
Yeah, and Helen is clearly nervous. Very nervous.
This part really gets to the heart of the emotional cost, I think, of putting yourself out there online.
Oh, definitely.
Helen uses words like weird, exposing, a big deal, scary, so that it takes up so much energy.
You really feel it. She's worried it won't work out anyway, and just the pressure of putting myself on the line.
It's so vulnerable, isn't it? She's articulating the real emotional labor involved in seeking connection this way.
It really is. It's not just swiping. It's managing hope and fear and the potential for rejection in what feels like a very public arena.
What does it say about, our modern world? That seeking a simple connection can feel quite so exposing.
It's a big question. And Ian's response, though, is just so supportive.
Yeah, he validates her completely, tells her everybody feels like this, that it's massive.
But he still encourages her, doesn't he? You never know. It's good practice for the next one.
And even humorously suggests taking someone like Kirsty along in case it's a disaster, which is kind of sweet.
It is. His empathy and that practical, slightly wry advice, it just highlights how crucial support systems are when you're navigating this landscape. It's a really lovely moment of genuine care.
Yeah. And the conversation ending with his offer of tiramisu and her simple, heartfelt, "Oh, thank you," it really solidifies that warmth, that connection between them.
Okay, so let's circle back to Emma and Ed.
Right. Despite Oliver's incredible gesture, they arrive at Great Gables and, well, it's a bit of an anticlimax, isn't it?
It really is striking. They sit down for the fancy dinner. They acknowledge how nice of him to do this for us.
And they feel bad that they're sitting here arguing.
But the core reason for that lingering tension...
They realize they are both really, really tired. Just exhausted.
Yeah. Emma's not even hungry after eating Natasha's brie earlier. All she wants is to just go to bed.
And this is powerful, I think, because after Oliver's grand effort to create this special, memorable anniversary moment,
A simple reality of physical and emotional exhaustion completely overrides it.
they just call it a night early.
Yeah. What does this tell you about the limits of maybe external circumstances to fix internal states? Or perhaps just the profound impact of simple fatigue on our relationships and our expectations?
It really undercuts that whole perfect anniversary idea, doesn't it?
Right.
Grounds it right back in messy human reality.
Absolutely. So just by listening closely to this one slice of conversation, we've journeyed through quite a lot.
We really have. Workplace friction, family grief, and its quiet toll.
A financial mystery sparking all sorts of speculation.
An unexpected act of just profound generosity.
The raw vulnerability and, frankly, the emotional energy required by modern online dating.
And finally, the simple, undeniable power of being utterly exhausted.
It's such a powerful reminder that everyday interactions, even the ones that seem mundane on the surface, are just packed with layers of human experience.
Navigating conflict, managing loss, seeking connection, dealing with pressure.
And yeah, sometimes the basic struggle to just make it through the day.
These moments, these snippets, they offer you a kind of crash course in the complex tapestry of human interaction.
The words spoken, the feelings hinted at, the actions taken.
And the simple, sometimes funny, sometimes sad reality of how people navigate life together.
So what stands out to you most from all this? Is it that clash between intention and impact we saw early on?
Or maybe the way grief just seems to weave through everything.
The sheer effort involved in putting yourself out there to connect.
Or perhaps that surprising truth at the end that sometimes even the grandest gesture can't conquer simple fatigue. This deep dive really shows us that the most insightful stories and maybe the most profound truths about being human are often hidden right there in plain sight, just waiting for us to slow down and truly listen.
So, what are you doing now?
Just getting ready for the next episode. Just
And,
moving mics around.
So, what do you do?
I do the spot effects on the archers. Any
Are you what we
movements
call Foley then?
and- kind of. Yep. That's,
Okay. And these are all part of the paraphernalia of production.
yep. That's the ball bar. That's.
This one.
Yep. That's.
Haley so wanted to be in their own place when their baby came. It's due in 2 months. Not much chance of that now. No. I mean, it would have been a stretch for them financially, mind, but I just wish there was something practical I could do to help them, Caroline.
I think The Archers has had this immense popularity over the years, basically because it has always very accurately reflected the reality of life and living in a rural community at whatever